welcome to the October, 2nd October members Q&A. My name is Hilary Gadsby. I am a project coordinator for both the England and the Wales projects. I help coordinate the England project Orphan Trail, and I am county's project coordinator for Wales. I've been on WikiTree since 2011, so quite a long time. I think longer than both my co-hosts, all three of my co-hosts, sorry. And I shall let them introduce themselves. Murray, if you want to go first.
Hello, everyone. I'm Murray Maloney. I'm a retired writer, and I helped Ian Bacall and Greg Clark with some of their tech writing needs for their well, for the extension, WikiTree browser extension, and a couple of Greg's tree apps. And my background, my family background, as you can see, the background on my screen is Alexander entering Babylon, and that's a favorite of mine. My mother's side of the family is Macedonian, and so that all that Alexander the Great history relates to our background. And on my father's side, we are Canadian and Irish and Scottish and French and Native and a bit of German. And anyway, so I've been around since 2019, and I first encountered Betsy Ko with her new member Q&A back in, was it 22, 21? And thought this is, this is great because you can learn things and figure out how to make things work. And I found that it was very difficult to learn how to use WikiTree. And I am, I've got a lot of experience in the software industry. And so if it's really hard for me, then it must be really hard for everybody. I think, I'm guessing, but I could be wrong. In any case, I thought that maybe I could help out by, helping answer questions or even asking questions that might help other people. And so that's why I'm here. And there's no question that you shouldn't ask. I mean, even basic things. It doesn't, we're here to help you. You can think of this as like, sitting around in a coffee shop and saying, oh, geez, I tried something and it didn't work for me and I'm not sure why. And we'll help you out the best that we can. And you're also welcome to chip in and say, oh, I've tried that and this is how it worked for me. So, so with that, I will turn it over to Denise.
Oh, well, hello, everyone. I'm the newest member of this group. I've been a member on WikiTree since February of 2020. Thanks to the pandemic, I had time to, instead of driving to and from work, I had time to do some family history research, and I discovered WikiTree by finding a Roots Tech video on YouTube. And I said, well, let me check out WikiTree and see what that's all about. And I've been enjoying my time here ever since. I started coming to these new Q&A meetings back when they were intended for new members, newts, but I really wasn't a newt. I was just coming to see what kind of questions were being asked. And I started, contributing. And so Betsy asked me a couple months ago if I'd be interested in being a co-host. So I'm really happy to be here and happy to be of assistance to anyone who has questions here. I am a co-project leader for the U.S. Black Heritage Project. I'm also a team leader for the U.S. Black Heritage Cemeteries Project. We also focus on not just cemeteries, but the African American churches, organizations, anything related to African American communities is basically what I'm trying to lead my team toward. And so my focus isn't just African Americans because my family is not just African Americans. So I really enjoy the information that I learn in attending these meetings and look forward to helping and working with all of you. Steve.
Oh, thank you, Denise, and we really appreciate having you here, to add extra perspective to things. I should shout out Ann too. She just posted in the chat. She's been one of our biggest cheerleaders and shows up to pretty much every one of these as well. So, it doesn't have to just be us co-host and host, that are stealing the limelight. It's a lot of people here contribute because we are a collaborative project, and that's the whole point. Is that WikiTree is, collaboration. And again, for those who don't know, I'm Stephen Greenwood. I came here in 2020. So yep, that's a good time to start as any, right? I've probably been working on, my branches of the trees since as early as 2000, but it was all offline. And I finally found a place where I could apply skills I currently had to an environment where people could actually see my stuff, and then I could add to something that was bigger than myself. So on my focus, as I perked up earlier before the stream began, I am involved with Germany projects. I have a lot of German background. I also have a little bit of Scots-Irish in my line I'm investigating, and I'll be talking to John Tyner about that shortly, try to get that figured out after a source-a-thon. And what I live in a city that has been predominantly historically full of German ancestry at Milwaukee, which is actually the shirt I'm wearing today, is a place that has had I believe the highest population of Germans, or at least German Americans in American history. So there's a lot of stuff for me to work on while I'm here, going to different cemeteries, working on various friends' lines, and trying to piece together my additional stuff, which also runs through Wisconsin as well. It just doesn't really focus on Milwaukee, but I tend to be in a good spot. And I even just took a tour recently of Calvary Cemetery, which is, in the middle of the city. And they have a lot of really old graves with like a lot of historic people, founders, beer makers, suffragists, tavern keepers. And like, we got to see all these different people that were representing these individuals. They were reenactors. So you'd go to their grave and then they would talk about their lives. And I thought, this is so cool. And I just started picking up more and more information. Now I'm going to be applying to the wiki. I'm going to be adding that content. So you really don't know what you're going to be involved in until you just start pushing forward and discovering new things. I mean, there's like a million rabbit holes. But if there's something that you're really passionate about and focused on, go for that, because that's going to keep you happy and helping out the wiki. So anyway, I've said my part.
Right. Thanks, Steve. Yeah. I don't know if anybody's got any specific questions that we can perhaps quickly answer, or whether we just, I know we were talking to one person, we were talking to Anne before. I know she had some issue with somebody that she's connected to, but unless anybody else has got something that they really need us to deal with.
I see Don raising his hand.
Yeah,
I have one question, if there's time. I have one ancestor dad pre 1500, and I got him on there somewhere, but I can't see him, so I don't know if we have time to go into that issue. Ooh. Where that information hid.
I'm not pre 1500, so I'm not sure. Usually you can see you can usually see the pre 1500, but you can't always edit them. Very few of us can do. I don't know if any of my other co-hosts can or not. No.
Oh, I'm not pre 1500 certified, just 1700.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah,
my question is more, where is that? I put it somewhere. Is there a temporary file or something?
No, if it's somebody that's connected to your family, presumably it's connected there, but you may not be able to actually edit it because you're probably not pre 1500 either.
Certified. No, I'm not. But how do I go about that? Is I guess the question.
You have to probably go through. it depends where your pre-1500 profile is, what area it's in. It's usually probably a geographic, one of the projects you normally have to go through one of them to get the pre-1500 certification, I think. Because you can self-certify for the pre-1700 but not for the pre-1500, because they like.
But I added the information in somewhere. I
Yeah.
don't know, some sort of temporary file or something that is in WikiTree.
He can't see it.
But I
Yeah,
can't see it on
we
my panel.
don't know, Don.
Okay,
We don't
thank
know
you.
where you
That's
put it.
Yeah.
Anne asked the question, what does it mean to be pre-some year certified? So there are two of those. One is pre-1700, the other one is pre-1500. Now, basically, anything after 1700, a birth after 1700, the rules for the sources and for how biographies are done, etc., are a little looser than they are for pre-1700 and pre-1500. Okay. If you're adding your parents or your great or your grandparents, some of, a lot of sources aren't even going to be available, right? So we're going to trust you that you know who your parents are and that you've put in as much information as you can find records for, etc. But once you get before 1700,
just break right in. That back door works. All you gotta do is press a button.
sorry, somebody's breaking through there. And so in order to get permission, basically to edit files, that edit profiles that are pre-17 or pre-1500, you have to apply for that. And there are, certain requirements that you have to meet. So I've got pre-1700 certification, but when I applied for pre-1500 certification, I was denied. Okay, so I'm not allowed to edit things before 1500. And for pre-1700, there's some requirements for you have to have been around WikiTree for a little while. You have to have added some profiles, and they have to be able to to look at some of the profiles that you've added and say, okay, that person's doing a good job, and we can trust them to work on the pre-1700s as well. So we've got a little bit of vetting going on, and that might seem a little bit weird if you're used to working on Ancestry, for example. But here on WikiTree, we want the community to um, to do a good job and put in good sources, and we want our genealogy to be high quality. And so we have some standards, and that's what the pre-15 and pre-1700 certifications allow us to do.
Thanks for sharing those links, Denise.
Somebody suggested that you may have put it on a free space page.
That's what it was. That's what it was called.
Yeah. If you created the free space page, it should be in your watch list. Do you know how to access your watch list?
I forget.
Right. Shall I show you? Shall I screen
Yeah,
share
that'd be
and show
great.
how
Thank
to
you.
access a watch list? That's probably the easiest thing.
Okay,
Right.
I found it. Okay.
I'm just going to share. Right. This is my watch list, and I accessed it by going to my WikiTree and then going to watch list. And on this watch list, there's two lots. There's the person profiles that I manage, and then there's the free space profiles. Now I'm on all these free space profiles. Some of them I created, some I belong to. Like some of them are like name studies that I help coordinate, and other lists that I've made for various things. So if you go to your My WikiTree, click on that, and right at the bottom before you log out, just at the top, there should be above it, there should be watch list, and then you should be able to see the tab for the free space profiles.
Yeah, found them. Thank you.
You do a
Okay.
lot, Hillary. It's very impressive.
Actually, go back to that, Hillary, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Because I'd like to show everybody another little trick that you can do that saves a little bit of time in that process. So if Hillary, could you click on the search looking glass?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, that one.
yeah.
And go to your search your watch list
Mm-hmm.
and type in AMB.
AM.
Ambassador's project meeting will pop up. Well,
I'm not showing me all, but
You have to scroll. You have to. Oh, AMBASS. There it is.
Yeah.
So in that field, it's going to look through all of your watch list. So if you remember any part of what you're
great.
looking for, you just have to type that word in, and it'll show you what's in your watch list, and you can find it quickly. So rather than jumping to your watch list, you can just get to it little bit more quickly.
Great tip from Murray there. I didn't know that, and I'm always looking for things. So I'll probably use that now. Thanks. See,
That's a good point to make, is that even us who have been here for 5-10 years are still discovering things about the site. It's amazing how many things that you can learn.
Yeah.
I
I always like learning from other people.
I have a quick question, if I may. I know that I get a regular email on what do they call it? Your watch list email?
Oh, the
Just your
once a week
feed.
one.
Feed, my feed.
Yeah.
Okay. So my sister is also on WikiTree, and she doesn't do too much with it. So she doesn't do anything with that watch list. If she opts out of the watch list, is there any way she will get an email if I make a change or edit a profile of someone she is also a manager of? Like, does she get notified when I make changes?
She
that
does
question
right
make-
now, but if she discontinues that feed, she probably won't.
Can she limit the feed to just the ones that she's manager of instead of
That's a
all the
good
ones with the
question.
same last name?
What do you think about that, Murray? Steve?
You go into settings.
I think the emails come through from your tags, don't they?
Well, yeah, because I get a lot of stuff on my surname, even though I'm not genetically related to a lot of them past a certain point. So it's like, doesn't really apply to me. I just kind of ignore it.
Yes, but it's very long.
Really?
Yeah.
My feed.
Yeah, the feeds, especially if you've got a common last name or something that somebody's, a lot of folks are working on. I don't know. I just kind of like scanning it just to see if there's a name I recognize on there, a family member, and somebody else other than another family member has made changes. I look for those kind of things. So I don't know that I would recommend she stop the feed, but I mean, she can.
If she's not doing it,
Yeah.
But depends how important it is to her that she sees anything that you change. Because the only way otherwise might be if she's on as a trusted list for something and you change something.
She is. She's also a manager on the profiles that I'm talking about.
Sure, if you get something different from your trusted list. I haven't got that many that I share that I'm not already got tagged. So
you can just zap that email message, which I often do. Just don't even bother opening it. I just see it and I just delete it.
No.
Okay.
It's a simple way. I have a question. I have once managed to use the sorcerer correctly, and since then I'm not. So if somebody could just walk me through the sorcerer really slowly so I can see what I'm doing, and then I'll practice it in the week, because it's been, like I've been away for 2 weeks, and if I don't do something for 2 weeks, it's gone. So if somebody could do that for me.
Yeah. Before I do the sorcerer, I would like to share my screen so I can show Karen what her sister can do to eliminate or reduce that feed.
Thank you.
So here on your sister's profile page, of course, this one is mine, but you've got the tags that you're following. So if she has entered any of these tags for the surnames or any other activity like the announcements and things like that that's going on in WikiTree, she can just remove those from her list. Just do an edit on the tags that she's following, and she can choose to delete it. Okay, I want to keep mine, so I'm not going to delete them, but you can choose to delete those tags if she's got that.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks. And then in regards to Lorraine's question, so we have, is that more of a Murray answer?
No, you go ahead and do it, Stephen.
Oh, me.
Yeah, why
The
not?
sorcerer?
I'm sorry. I forgot what the question was.
Yeah.
Oh, how
She had a question about the
just
sorcerer, WikiTree
a
sorcerer.
refresher on Sorcerer. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I want to be able to use it really well, and I have a fairly decent tree with sources on Ancestry, so I usually would go to Ancestry to try and do it, and then it just doesn't seem to work very well for me when I tried it again yesterday. I sort of messed it up.
I don't have access to Ancestry. If you do, Maury, you might be the better
Yeah,
person.
yeah. Okay. Okay. Give me a
Okay.
second.
Thanks
Yeah.
for understanding.
All right, good.
Doesn't it work
Yeah,
pretty
you
well?
wanted
The
to news?
same
Go
thing.
ahead.
Just out of curiosity, doesn't it usually work the same whether you're in Ancestry or in My Heritage or any of those? Doesn't the sorcerer work sort of the same?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
There's
let's
some things
go.
you can't do in some website, some of the websites, but
So I'm just going to have to do this first. Okay, and then I'm going to find a random profile. Okay, no, that's not random enough.
It's tiniest.
Okay, that's a person who's no longer living. So we see that there's a lot of sources already in here. So we know that there are sources available, and it looks like most of these are from Ancestry. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the sorcerer button here, and I'm going to say search Ancestry. So it's going to go off, and it's going to find Leonard Hayes. And you can see at the very top there, there's a somebody has a tree that has Leonard Hayes in it. And then as I scroll down, you can see that there's lots of sources there for Leonard Hayes, and some of them spell Ralph strangely.
Mm-hmm.
Now there's different ways you can do this. I'm going to show you how I do it because I find this to be the most effective. I go here and I click on family trees. Now that's going to show me that there are 25, and it looks like even more. There's another 48 there for Ralph R. Hayes, and I wonder if that's the same. Doesn't seem to be the same person. No. So okay, so we've got Leonard Ralph Hayes. There's 25 trees, and the first one at the top of the list has 11 records. So now let's click on this 25 trees, and that one has 11 records. 9, 3, 0, 1, 4. Okay, so the best one is the one at the top, and that's typically the case. So we'll click on that. So there's a profile for Leonard Hayes, and you can see that there's quite a number of sources, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's two things that we can do. We could go to, for example, go to the 1911 census and view the record, and then say, okay, sorcerer, could you please build a narrative with a citation? So I click on that, and it's looking through all the details, and it's saved it to the clipboard. Okay, so that's one approach. And we could go that way, we could go through each of the sources, and we could do that for each of them. Okay, but there's a quicker way to do this.
One question I have, I got
Yeah.
stuff, I got stuff into the clipboard and then I didn't know how to get it into my profile. Also, when you're going here, you're doing them each source, each citation individually. And I thought that you could do them all at once. Like if I go to my own that I have, like my own tree that I've got whatever.
Yes.
And I thought that I could just grab all of them.
That's what I was about to show you next.
Okay, great. Thanks. That's
So
what
I just wanted to show you that you could grab one at a time, but
Yes.
then there's two excuse me, there's two ways to grab all of them. Now,
Okay.
there's one that says save person data, and the other is build all citations. So if I build all citations, it's going to look at all of these, and it's going to gather all the information. And here it's run into a little problem because Ancestry doesn't like it sometimes when we're fetching a lot of records from it, so it balks. And so then Sorcerer has to slow down how quickly it records things. So it saves 10 citations, and then now they're saved to the clipboard. And so now I'll go over to Ralph's, and I'll go into edit mode, and I'm going to cancel that. So I'm in edit mode now, and I'm just going to make some space here. And we're going to pretend that there's nothing in this profile. We got an empty profile. So now I'm just going to go Command V.
V.
That's a paste.
Yeah.
Okay, and there's everything. And we can do a
Okay.
preview. We can do a preview, and you can see that.
What was the paste?
Control
on my
It's Control V if you're on Windows. I think it's something else on Mac, right?
yes, on Mac it's Command V.
And you can also right click and paste.
Yes.
Sure.
Mm.
Yeah, let's show that.
Yes,
Go back
I
here.
do know how to do that. So
Whoops. Oh, okay. Okay, good.
I don't
So that's one way to do it. Okay, so now I'm going to leave this, and I'm going to say return to profile without saving. Yes, leave the page. Now we're going to pretend that there is no Leonard Ralph Hayes profile on WikiTree. Okay, and so we're going to add a new person profile. Okay, so here we are. We have an unrelated person. It's an empty screen, right? Now I'm going to go over here to Leonard Ralph Hayes and into Sorcerer, and see the save person data.
Yes.
So I click on that. Now it's getting all the citations like it did before, but it's also getting his full name and getting his birth and death date, and also the names of his parents. Okay, so now I'll go back. Now I'll go back over here, and again go back to this button, and it says set fields from person data for Leonard Ralph Hayes. Okay, now see below it, there's a separate one that says set fields from citation data for Leonard Hayes saved 3 minutes ago, but this one is saved 6 seconds ago. So I'm going to do that, and it doesn't like that because there's no Canada on there. So we're going to add Canada. And so now it filled it in, Leonard Ralph Hayes. Birth date, death date is unknown, and death location is unknown.
Auto-generated.
And we're going to say estimated uncertain but non-living. So we know that Leonard is not living. And I thought that we knew. Oh yeah, so on the profile that already existed, Leonard had a death date. So let's see what happens here, okay? So Leonard Ralph Hayes was born on this date, the son of Edward and Sarah Catherine Ramier. So it grabbed that information from off of the Ancestry profile, and then it put in all of the information, okay? All of the citations. So we'll say continue. And it says, well, wait a second. We've got Leonard Ralph Hayes.
Managed by you.
And managed by me. So now we say, okay, well, this is the person. So, okay, and there he is.
That's a really good way to add children. When I put in a person, then I can add the sisters and stuff. And I've been working. So that way, boy, I've been having fun this afternoon.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
That's a little clearer to me now. Thank you.
Okay.
But it should be noted that anything that you just added in that entry screen is not being used because the profile already exists. So it didn't merge anything into that profile. It didn't change that profile. It just took you there.
Yeah.
So it would only.
That's a good point. Yeah.
So only, but if that's because he didn't save, is that correct?
That's because
that's because. Go ahead.
I chose
Mary.
this. This is the person. So
Okay, you said that as
it's
the person, so
yeah.
so
Now
it
it's
didn't
got
add
merged,
anything.
right?
It didn't add anything or whatever. Just sort of said, I'll leave it alone.
Yeah, there was a separate option, I think, to merge the data that I had just picked up into the existing profile.
Yeah. Okay. None of
Yeah,
my people are on, so I don't have to worry
yeah,
about that.
well,
All my wiki people.
okay.
I've got a family that doesn't exist and or they don't want to, so it's an interesting thing. Thank you.
A lot of folks in chat do not know where Sorcerer is. So could you show them where Sorcerer is, please?
How to find it, you mean? Just a moment.
Sorry, Anne, we weren't trying to ignore you.
I
We
know,
were just...
I know, man. I know. You
We'll
were
get
just
the
learning
link
all
in
the
there.
tricks. I know you're only learning about the tricks from Murray, which I love.
Well, I think when you screen share, it actually removes the chat a little bit, or it makes the
It
chat harder.
does. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've just added a link to Sorcerer.
Mm-hmm.
And let me just
the puzzle.
Just show you.
Now, Anne, was your question regarding downloading Sorcerer then? So Karen said it was the puzzle piece. You haven't got it uploaded or installed on your device yet, correct?
It was actually Renee Horn from North Carolina that was asking to show how you got to Sorcerer.
Right. Okay.
So,
I see Renee's question. Then I see Anne's question after that. Anne Force here. So yeah, it got a little populated there in the chat. But
I'm asking because I have a very large tree on Ancestry and I don't want to manually input everything. And you just gave me the answer to my question, but I don't know how to get to Sorcerer.
So if you go to the URL that I just put in the chat, you see that?
Not yet. Hold on.
Do you see your chat button?
I do have my chat button, but I haven't seen that pop up.
It's
nested
there it is. Within the and response.
I see it. Okay.
There we go.
I see it.
Okay. So that'll bring you to this page. And this page was written by Rob. And it tells you everything you need to know. How to install is right there.
Okay.
So there's extensions, and you can just
Perfect.
go add these to your browser.
Okay,
and
perfect.
then
Thank you.
Once you have that, now I should also mention that there is a separate Zoom session for sorry, now I've forgotten what it's called. That's crazy because I started at Tech Talk. Thank you.
Talk.
Yeah, that typically happens once a month, except this month. There won't be one this month, but there are recordings of all the previous Tech Talks. And in one of those recordings, Rob Pavey has done he done a demonstration of how you use WikiTree Sorcerer. So if you want to look on YouTube in the WikiTree channel, you can find a lot of information about how to use WikiTree Sorcerer. Once you have Sorcerer installed, then you look up here. And it depending on what browser you're using, it might be over here, whatever, but it's going to be, there's going to be a little button that you can press.
Be that one surrounded by a single bracket on either side, which is the citation. That's what that is.
Yeah, it's supposed to look like a footnote marker, right?
Footnote marker.
So, yeah. So, for example, here's a trick that I use sometimes. Whoops. Why doesn't WikiTree know how to deal with that? That's weird.
Looks like a WikiTree page, but not a person profile.
That's kind of weird. Yeah, isn't that weird? Yeah. Okay, so let's go over here. Okay, so one of the things I do from time to time is I'll ask, okay, so I've got Leonard Ralph Hayes on my Ancestry, right? And I want to know, oh, look, there he is. So you can quickly, from an Ancestry profile, go and see if it already exists on WikiTree. Okay. So I hope that answered your questions, and I will now.
Would you just do that again, where you show on Ancestry how you found it? Because that was just too quick for me.
Yep. Let me do that again.
Thank you.
Okay, so here I am on an Ancestry profile, right? We've already looked at Leonard Ralph Hayes, and we already found that if I tried to create a profile for Leonard Ralph Hayes, that after I put all the information in, it told me, oh, here's a list of people that seem to be matching, and oh yeah, there's Leonard. So, but you can skip all that, or you can bypass that whole process and save yourself a little bit of time. So if you're here, you click on that, and you say search WikiTree. Now, so it's
Oh,
going to send the search to WikiTree with the information that we have about Leonard Ralph Hayes, including his birth date and his proper name. Okay, so we click that, and it says, oh, okay, well, you're looking for Leonard Ralph Hayes, born on this date. Well, I've got one. There he is.
yeah. Okay, I
See?
see that. I just didn't know how you got there. Thank you. That's
Yeah.
great.
You're very welcome.
Now, if you have WikiTree B, which is the browser extension extra, that's what B represents, BEE, it will actually give you a little icon on the profile in Ancestry if it's already linked to a WikiTree profile.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Same thing
Got it on
happens in
mine.
Find a
I've
Grave
got it
as
on
well.
some of mine.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm,
So that
So-
makes it a little bit easier too.
mm.
So BEE is a browser extension that works on Chrome and Firefox, and it does not work on Safari. The WikiTree browser extension, that's WBE, is a browser extension that works on Chrome, Firefox, and Safari. And so let me just show you, because Anne was asking about this earlier.
Do you have it activated already?
Yep. So I'm just going to pick up the URL there and put that in the chat. If I can find the chat. And no, I can't. Oh, there we go. Message everyone. Okay. So there's the link to the chat, the WikiTree browser extension page. And again, there's installation. You can go directly to installation and configuration. Now, the WikiTree browser extension is a tool that plugs into your browser and just gives you more capabilities while you're working with on WikiTree. And so you can do things that you couldn't have done before. So let's just look at this, for example. So here, Leonard Ralph Hayes, and there's this 7 degrees thing, and I can click to refresh it. And it tells me that I am second cousin twice removed from Leonard Ralph Hayes. This is a feature of the WikiTree browser extension. Well, how will I know? How will I know when things are a feature of the browser extension? Well, I just click on this little thing here, and it highlights the aspects of what you're seeing on the screen that are from the browser extension. So, for example, there's a highlighting here, that home button, and my menu is a feature. And then we find that these tabs are a feature of the browser extension. And everything to the right of that bar is a feature. And then this box has been modified by the browser extension. This categories thing has been modified by the browser extension. And see, as you go through, it'll show you things that might be modified. So what links here, for example,
I like that one a lot.
and what else? So let's look at the what links here, since Stephen likes it. So nothing links here yet. But let's go to the WikiTree browser extension itself. And if we go up here, whoops, come on.
But a note on that, what
Sources.
links here. I had access to this on previous wikis in the past, and always appreciated that feature. And it was nice to see that they integrated it, in the recent years for the extension. If you're being linked to that profile from a space page, then it will show that space page. It'll connect the links together with the different places that someone might be talking about that person. So I find that very helpful for larger projects when you're trying to interweave and interconnect people. There we go. So who is this person?
Well, this is me.
Oh,
and this is me, and these are people. These are so on the left here. These are people who have a link to me. So these are profiles that have a link to me, and that's probably because I'm the profile manager for most of them.
Did you put in the sources that maybe information provided by you, and then link to your name?
Yeah, yeah. There's various reasons why a link to me might be in there, but in any case, there they are. And
I think
then
an
I
there's a whole
saw
excellent link
bunch.
me
has
in
to be
that
in there.
list. See,
Sorry,
I see
you saw
me in that
yourself?
list.
Why are
there you are.
you linking? Are you
Well,
cousins?
she must
I don't know.
mention me.
Yes, maybe because we're
Oh,
all on the
you
same
know what?
new member
I
thing
know
now.
why. Because I've got your name on my profile as a
See?
co-host.
Yeah,
See?
Yeah.
we're
And
talking
so
about who we're sharing the screen with.
there's a whole bunch of pages, space pages that mention me and have a link to me.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is very helpful. I find it helpful anyway.
There's
Let
the
me show
Q&A
you.
form.
Who can I use as an example? Um,
George Washington.
Edward Hilton. So Edward Hilton is an Englishman who ended up he's a fishmonger. He ended up in New England. And there's still a lot of research being done on Edward Hilton because we're not entirely sure who his parents are. And so we've had to document the entire Hilton family and try and figure out what's going on here. So you can see, for research purposes, it's very helpful to be able to quickly look and find, well, who's Rebecca, right? And how's Rebecca related to him, and
Who is
so, and then
Papusakanawapinnacook? Do you see that link down
sorry,
there beneath Henry Moulton? It might be
yes,
a Native American individual, Pennacook
yeah,
Nation.
that's
So yeah,
great. That's right. And here are space pages. For example, he's mentioned on the raid on Dover, but there's also a Hilton research page. See, so it might be hard to, um, to find the things that you're looking for just by doing searches. You might find it, you might not. But if you leave a link in a profile and link it to a page, then the next time you go to that profile or the next time you go to that page, you're going to be able to find your way back and forth.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I find it incredibly helpful to be able to see the relationship between space pages and profiles, and especially research pages. So, like, if you want to see who else is working on that person, and it's not evident by their profile, then you might be able to find the page that links to them.
So the WikiTree browser extension has now 97 distinct and switchable features,
Wow.
and they're all documented.
We're going to celebrate when we get
And
100, right?
and when you try to let's just go to jump to that one. And so when you go and
Flow.
look it up, there's the help for it, and you can set the options while you're reading the help. So we tried to make that easy for you.
And I noticed that Flo is a contributor to this feature, so he's actually a person heavily involved in, or at least at one point heavily involved in Germany projects. So we have
Yes.
lots of other people to thank for their contributions. Yeah, and then Anne was asking, like, what can you put on a space page? And the other, all right, Anne, was saying anything you want, it's yours. David adding a village, an immigration ship, a workplace, a storehouse, cemetery. So really the possibilities are endless for space pages.
Okay.
Maybe we should take this opportunity to look at one. I can pull one up. Is anybody
Certainly.
interested in that? Yeah.
Certainly. Go ahead.
Well, let's see. I do have my profile up already, so that's a good starting point. I'm going to share my screen. Thank you. It's not the page I wanted to be on. That is the page I wanted to be on. Okay. Just go to a comfortable place here.
Yeah, while he's doing that, one of the space pages I'm about to start is one for our family reunions, because we have them every other year in one branch of my family. So I thought this would be a good way to attract a lot of those family members to WikiTree, as well as document the activities that go on during the family reunions.
All right, so this is my profile area, starting with my TOC, my table of contents. I have a very well developed profile, so it is ridiculous the size it is. But I'm going to go down to pretty much where my space pages are. And I try to depict, I'm trying to group them by topic here. These are the ones that I manage, ones I work on, ones I've created. Because I kind of brought up Milwaukee today, I feel like maybe it's a good starting point. So let's look at Milwaukee.
Sure.
It could use some work, but I currently have, and I didn't create this page, I took it over. But this is the city I live in. And I'm just trying to indicate some basic information, when was it founded, who founded it. So guys like Solomon Juneau, Byron Kilbourne, George Walker, they actually had a thing called the Bridge War. And they all had 3 different parts of the city, depending on what side of the rivers they were on. And the streets were deliberately offset so that they couldn't line up for bridges. And there was some fighting and some fun and stuff that happened with that. But eventually they all incorporated and merged into one city known as Milwaukee. And I use this space to kind of indicate here's all the different wards of old Milwaukee. So I'm currently going through the process of adding people into their individual wards. I feel like this is going to be more helpful than simply stating they were in the city of Milwaukee because of how big it is. How extensive it is today is even larger than what it was back in 1840 or 1900. So I'm currently working on a project to get all those people placed in the right area. Milwaukee County itself has a whole bunch of other cities, so I'm just kind of using basic census data, maybe some information from Wikipedia, just kind of letting the reader know that, oh yeah, there's these other places like West Dallas or Wauwatosa, and they have these populations. And then there's some historic towns that don't exist because they were basically incorporated by cities and villages. So the entire Milwaukee County is nothing but cities and villages now because it's all incorporated. Those towns don't exist anymore. But it might be helpful for someone doing research on a town that doesn't exist anymore. That might be where their ancestor was. And again, like I was showing the historic wards, I'm trying to indicate those details and their locations and what they kind of identify with today. So I'm still working that. Some other defined areas by name, like the Menominee River Valley or, Layton Park, just different things to establish locations, different neighborhoods, and then some major events, kind of a little timeline here, history of things. I'm still, trying to get some more details, a lot of incorporated places here. And then this is actually my favorite part of the page, I think, is the eponymous streets in Milwaukee. So I'm going through all the different streets that have names that are from people. And I'm trying to attach those streets to those people. And if they don't have any profiles, I'm creating the profiles off of that. So somebody that no one would have known anything about now has a profile on WikiTree, and then I can connect them in once I determine their parents, their children, all that stuff. So this is, again, my attempt to make a much more richer understanding of Milwaukee as a whole through, the people that live there and the place names that you're seeing on the street signs and the names of the parks and the plazas and things like that. And, it's just sorted alphabetically by the place name, because sometimes people's first names became the names of the streets and not necessarily the last names. One of them is Lapham Street, Lapham Boulevard. So this links to, one of our first scientists in Wisconsin, Increase Lapham. And there's a whole bunch of places, named for him. And yeah, then pretty much at the bottom of the page, I just have a couple of references. Carl Baer is a really good historian for the city, especially when it comes to the city streets. So I cite him quite a bit from Urban Milwaukee. There's also some really good images on the Historical Society for Wisconsin, which is actually based in Madison. So I'm linking to theirs. I do not copy any of their data directly to this page unless I found something and photographed it myself, but anything that they have in their possession, you should link to. Don't try to copy the image for copyright. And funny enough, here's the What's Link Here button for me because I'm using the browser extension or the B, and I have linked to it through a variety of people. Oh, and my favorite person right now, Bob Euchre of the Milwaukee Brewers, who passed away this year, and that was sad and everything. But I have taken the time to build up a profile based on images that I took here of his memorial. There's a statue at the park. inside the park. There's his actual cemetery stone in the military cemetery, so be respectful. There's one of the plaques for him over at the Baird Center, or actually the Milwaukee Panther Arena, so that's where that's located. And I just he's one of the people that I wanted to focus on, especially after that happened. And darn those Brewers, but we tried our best. And so I think I'm going to be really deep in this project of like piecing all this stuff together on the city I live in, and you guys can do the same for wherever you're at, and thank you, Anne.
No, the other Anne was wondering about your question in chat. How possessed were you when you did all those?
How possessed?
What is possessing you to do all that?
What is possessing you?
I
to
am
do all
possessed
that?
by the spirit of Frederick Pabst, apparently. I don't know.
No, it's all no. She was looking at all your space, your free space pages, and she was wondering why it was so many.
I'm crazy.
It's like me deciding to do a one-place study for the village that I live in.
I can't focus on one thing at a time is my problem. So I don't get anything done during thawns.
It's pretty much one.
That's
You're
funny.
almost doing a one-place study there, Stephen.
I was doing one place. I had two one-place studies.
Yeah.
Now I have to do one.
Yeah, I'm only allowed to do two because that's the maximum. I believe. I reached my limit for that.
I've got two one-place studies. My village where I live now.
There's one places and one names.
Yeah, and I took over a one-place study down in Dorset where a lot of my family live, and the person who set it up, and it covers several villages, so it's a big one-place study already. And when I get the chance, I just go and update some of it. So yes, if you take on things like that, you take on a lot of work.
And incidentally, the Milwaukee page is not a one-place study. It probably could be because it is a single city, but I think it's a lot bigger than a simple one place. I think like there would be one places within it that would be like buildings, that would be like streets. So like if I wanted to break it down even further into neighborhoods, those could be one placers. And then this would be like the master list, right? This would be kind of the starting point, the jumping off point.
Yeah, I've got a couple one-place studies for here in Columbus, Ohio, because we have two communities that were African-American communities back in the day of segregation. And so I'm documenting those as one-place studies within the city.
What happens if we stop the research and want to work on something else? I mean, are we limited and we can't make any more one-place studies? Or do we just have to treat them as space pages at that point, right?
I suppose the thing is, though, all you're doing is coordinating something. Now, whether you can stand down from coordinating in one place because you've done what you can in there, and
hand it off.
Here's a space page that I created as one of many, where I did it because I was finding that I was having a hard time keeping track of it all and making all the connections. And so, this is the raid on Dover. It happened in 1689. And actually earlier when I talked about my background, I neglected to mention that I have American ancestors. And when I say I have American ancestors, there are three people in my history who were born after 1776 in what is now the United States of America. So those people left America, Maine specifically, and went to New Brunswick. But in any case, so their ancestors were in New England in the 1600s, and so I was trying to figure all this out because I just didn't understand. I had learned that I had native ancestors, and I had learned that I had ancestors in New England, and then I had learned that they fought each other, and without knowing each other, of course. And so there was all these different battles and situations where people were kidnapped by the natives and Canadian natives who went to New England and went to the little towns in New England and captured people and brought them all the way back to Quebec. And some of those people were returned, but others weren't, and they were kept. And so I wanted to capture the stories so that I could keep track of people. And so, for example, here, I've got the names of the Chief Kankamungus and Richard Waldron, and like as I said, because I couldn't keep track of all these people. Um, so King William's War was one of the periods during American history from in the latter part. King Philip's War preceded it, and Queen Anne's War followed. And so I've got all these subcategories and then pages to describe these different situations that happened and the people who were involved in them, so that when you're trying to figure out what the heck happened, you can do that. And so here is an example of the raid on Percé. Now, some of my ancestors came from France and settled in Percé in Quebec, and so I want to tell the story of what happened. That there were some, the American corsairs, Mason and Guderis, and at a fishing post in Percé and Bonaventure, and that there was an attack. And so, I wrote some research notes, and it's just so that, again, so I can keep track, and so that other people can figure out who these people were and how they were involved. So if I go to William Masson's profile, then you can see that there's a link to the category History of Percé and the raid on Percé. And,
Different name at birth? He's Guawame?
sorry, say that again?
So he has a different name at birth. He's known as Guawame. Am I
Guillaume.
pronouncing that right?
No, it's Guillaume.
Guillaume, sorry.
Guillaume is William in French.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
One of those older names that you might see in the records, isn't it?
Yes.
Awesome.
Oh, that's very cool. Yeah, and the categories, I do also want to bring that up too, is that a lot of these space pages are integrated, with categories, and then the category tree can tie all of those pieces together, and eventually link back to the largest items. Wisconsin branches down into its counties, counties branch out into their cities, etc. And utilizing all of those different structures together is allowing us to do research a lot more efficiently than if something was isolated here, or something was over there.
Yeah, it's so vast. Now, one of the things I love about WikiTree, when you create space pages or profiles and things of that nature, Google is your friend. You can type a name in on Google, and if there is something on WikiTree about that person, place, or thing, it will come up on Google, and then you can do research that way. I've turned my nieces and nephews who were doing history lessons in school. I turned them on to WikiTree via Google. Since they love to do research on Google, I have them look it up. And they say, well, this is on WikiTree. Isn't that what you do? Yeah, look it up. Look at it. See what it says. So you get people like Murray and Steve and Hillary that are doing these historical pieces of documentation about people, places, and things. And it's really educational, not only for them, but for me too, because there's so much out there. It's amazing. All the information that we've accumulated in WikiTree over the past 17, 16, almost 17 years. So it's awesome.
Yeah, that's a good point, because a lot of this is searchable through the basic web browsers. That one of the strongest tools, and why we focus on things like cousin bait, is because somebody might not get to WikiTree first. They might just do that Google search or that Bing search and look for an ancestor that they're aware of, and then it populates the profile. It's like, well, wait a minute, somebody wrote the profile on this ancestor I was looking for, and it's right here, and I don't have to go through a paywall to get to it. Like a lot of places force you to pay money just to look at this research. We're not doing that. We're user contributed. We're volunteering. That's what's keeping the price down. So basically, we have free access to this. Yes, Gordon.
You're talking about using Google to do research to find I presume mostly space pages on WikiTree, but are you using certain search categories? Are you putting WikiTree as one of the terms in the search, or does it just populate by itself?
Yes and yes. I put like the name of a person, and if I want to know specifically if it's on WikiTree, then I will back that up with the word WikiTree. And
Okay.
so they'll appear at the top of the list. But I mean, just in general, you know, when you go down the list of what you get back when you're doing your search on WikiTree, depending on how often it has been hit, WikiTree may appear at the top of the list.
Oh,
Steve,
okay.
I want to add to that. Can I screen share really quick?
certainly.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then I think we'll wind up for today.
Yeah. So I'm going to actually show you how to do an internal search. So people can do Google search. It's going to pull up every result that's out there on the web, but we can focus on just the internal search. So going back to that, magnifying glass icon at the top right-hand side of the screen, right?
Yes.
First name, last name search. There's the watch list search, right? Did you notice that there is an advanced person search down here that I touched before because it's in purple? Now, this is great because while it gives you all the fields to search for people, if you go to the bottom, you can search for any text. And this means it will do effectively a Boolean or a Google search type on anything that's on WikiTree. It can focus on free space profiles. It can focus on categories or images or even help pages. But I'm just going to search for all WikiTree pages. And just as an example, let's go back to that profile that I already pulled up before. Good old Bob Euchre, right? Now, his name is Robert George Euchre on the website, but his name is Bob in the text. It will search the text, it'll search anything that's there, and it should be able to pull them up. So if I do that, and it opens up another programmable search engine page, there it is. It pulls his profile right up. It also pulls up the G2G where somebody posted about him. Didn't spell it right. But it also pulls up his father. It pulls up anything that's got the last name, and then anybody else that's got that text in it. So now notables, January 25, and then there's my profile because I brought him up. There's the potential place he was supposed to be buried in, Holy Cross, but he actually was buried in the military cemetery, Wood. And so, yeah, then it shows up in other categories, other places that might be something affiliated with it. But you click on it, and then it takes you right back to the profile. That's what you're looking for. You've now found it pretty quickly, and you didn't have to go to Google to do it. You can just remain on WikiTree to do it too. So that's a really cool feature. Any text again, you can just put anything in here because that's what it's searching for is the text.
Yep.
Sky's the limit.
Yeah, Gordon?
I've got one more question. There's so much packed into this one session. I saw that there was a link to YouTube for something else, but will this Newt session appear very quickly on the YouTube channel? How
Probably
do I
within a
find
few
it?
days.
Should do fairly quickly. Yeah. If there's anything in the chat that you want, just don't forget to
I can
save
save the chat, but I'd like
Yeah,
to
yeah,
actually listen to the whole session again.
It will be. The best place to find it is actually on the new member page that we've got. And I'm trying
Let me link that.
Yeah, link that in.
Yeah, because then because the previous recording is actually on that page, and then when it's available, it'll get put up on that page as well. So
great. I will save this chat again.
Yeah.
I just uploaded added the link to our Zoom again, Q&A page.
Yeah. There's all the videos are linked on there. So if there's anything from any of the previous ones that you might find useful, you'll find their links are all on there as well. So
is saving the chat, can that be done the same way on a mobile device? Or you go up to the top of the chat bar and you see 3 ellipses. I don't do mobile, so I don't know if it's the same on a mobile device. To save a chat.
Can you screenshot? Mobile devices might be able to screen the chat. Oh yes, by all means, create a free space page. Anything that you're already covering in your Substack, you want to link to your Substack too, I suppose. That can be a resource here on this part. You can do research back in your Substack as well.
When is the next session?
There'll be one early next month on a Thursday evening, and
Second
then
Thursday
the
of the
Sunday
month.
one will be on the 4th Sunday next month. We had it a week early this month.
Yeah, second Thursday, fourth Sunday.
Yeah, I think so, something like that.
Usually what it is. Well, what a productive session, guys. So we appreciate you guys for showing up.
Yeah, it's been great.